That's where the power is, in being true to who and what you are. And that's when I started to be able to make a better life for myself, is when I realized it's not about what I want or what I wish for or how good I am. It's being present for me and aligned with what I'm about.
Welcome to the Mind Tracks podcast, where we explore tools and insights that expand awareness, improve communication, and support meaningful personal transformation. I'm Dr. Paul Scheele, and today I'm joined by Lyon Folsom, a love and relationship coach and author of Soul Statements, a love coach's guide to successful communication. In this conversation, we'll explore how the way you speak to yourself shapes the way you experience life and relationships. Corey introduces the concept of soul statements, a simple but powerful way of grounding yourself in truth, clarity, and emotional stability in the present moment. We'll discuss how to strengthen inner clarity and emotional awareness, differentiate between unhelpful thoughts and grounded truth, improve communication and relationships through self-connection, reduce stress and self-sabotage through mindful inner language, and build deeper intimacy through conscious expression. We'll also look at how practices like these support a more aligned and empowered way of living, both internally and in connection with others. Let's get started. Hello, Corey. Great to have you on the Mind Tracks podcast.
Thanks, Dr. Paul. Glad to be here.
Well, reading your book was a delight. The whole idea behind soul statements resonated with me a lot. I've been familiar with affirmations forever, but you make some important distinctions. Could you share with our listener what is different about soul statements?
A soul statement is based on the premise that answers and truth are in your center. And so with a typical affirmation, we're trying to emotionally inhabit a future state, kind of call that in or condition. And so with a soul statement, we're affirming what's already true, what's already resourceful, what's already good within ourselves right now. It's available. We already have it. And we're just reminding ourselves of what is true about what we're made of. And so there's no tricking our brain. When you get it and you say something like, I am enough, or there is grit inside me I can call upon, or my heart is a loving guide, or I am a treasure. When you feel the rightness of it, your cells sometimes will light up with a yes, or your bones can feel more solid because it's really who and what and why you are.
I like the way you describe it as it's calling us back to a center that's already within us. It's a truth that is. And when we make a statement or post it or remind ourselves of it, we're reminding ourselves to come into that true alignment with who we are.
Yes, and to paraphrase Ralph Waldo Emerson, what's inside of you is greater than what's outside of you. And so we can return to our center, to what's within, to remind ourselves that we have what it takes to meet the moment, to be more aligned with who we are.
Yeah, and I like that distinction because so often people are looking at the world as the source of their abundance. The world contains the education or the needs or whatever it is that they are trying to get in order to be fulfilled, but you're just bringing them back to the sense that it is already fulfilled, that there's more in you than around you.
That's right. And, I lived much of my young life. I mean, I had an amazing childhood. It was great. But once I was out in the world, I was wondering why life wasn't responding with awesomeness because I was such a good person. And what I eventually realized, life responds to alignment and being present for oneself and for the moment you're in. And so um, that's that's where the power is in being true to who and what you are. And that's when uh, I started to be able to make a better life for myself, is when I realized it's not about what I want or what I wish for or how good I am. It's being um, present for me and aligned with what I'm about.
Nice. And a lot of the stories that you tell within the book make that important distinction repeatedly. The idea that we're wishing for this, we're setting a goal for that, and then the world delivers us this, you know, this
Mud
thing,
soup.
mud soup. Yeah. So here's the mud soup. And I'm going, what's this? I was affirming something else. And what you say is that mud soup was delivered by life to help you get to where you are true and aligned and fulfilling your life's purpose. But we don't see it. We see it as, oh, I've been shortchanged.
Yeah. And you know what I there was what I thought I was doing. And then when I eventually learned to become honest with myself, I realized what I was actually doing was living my life in fear and avoidance of anything that would cause me embarrassment or rejection. And so, fear can stand for future events already ruined. And that's what I was doing.
Nice. I love this. And so we'll get into this a bit more as we go. I want to ask you another question about when you are fashioning a soul statement, when you really hit a real soul statement that resonates, what is it that lets you know you're on it?
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of time doing whatever connects you to you, where you feel more centered, more grounded, more of yourself. And for some people, that's sitting in stillness. Other people, it's a hard workout or getting in water or a stroll in nature. And so when you are feeling this insight of, oh, I'm kind, or there's a feeling that it's right. There's a rightness to it. I'm a big fan of that truth lives in your body, and your body, uh, if you're paying attention, will respond. You'll just feel more grounded.
Okay, so as a teacher of mine, Byron Katie, who wrote something called The Work, Loving What Is, she says, you either are in truth or you're suffering some story that you're telling. And the difference is truth will set you free. There's a
Yes.
feeling of lightness, of freedom in it versus angst or suffering or fear or any of those other untoward emotions.
Yes.
Now, you make a statement between surface thinking and deep knowing, and the soul statements are about deep knowing, and affirmations and goals and our stories really kind of a surface level. It doesn't connect us to that center.
That's right. That's exactly so. And that deep knowing will often feel neutral. It's not like a real charge around it, other than just a surety. I am absolutely sure, and I don't have to explain or defend or advocate for or against anything. I just know.
Okay, so let me use you as my guide in this. I wrote down as I was reading your book, you give lots of opportunities to practice writing soul statements throughout the book, and I think it's great in that way. I was motivated to write down 4 here, so I'm going to read them to you, and you tell me, what are your thoughts about that? Does that sound like a soul statement? So I wrote, I am a grace-filled presence of the divine here on earth to guide the liberation of human genius.
Love it.
Yeah?
Love it.
Good. For me, it's ding, 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 ding. Yes,
Yeah.
there was that real knowing. And the liberation of human genius has been so resonant with me for decades now that when I say it, I really get it. I will say that there are two areas of my life where stories sometimes get in the way. Fears
Mhm.
about supporting my family and my grandchildren and my business, right? And so sometimes I get into the idea of cash flow as a problem, like you got to track the cash flow to keep a business alive. Learning Strategies recently celebrated 45 years in business, which is pretty tremendous, right?
Yeah.
But still, I got together with business owners and CEOs, and no matter how big their business is, cash flow is always something you got to pay attention to. So this is what I wrote. I am abundantly blessed. Prosperity flows in all areas of my life. And I could just document how that's true. And the third one, I am enough and have enough to live the full expression of my life.
Mhm.
What do
Mhm.
you think?
I think those are terrific. Those are right on. And when you say I am enough, you can, it implies what follows.
Nice.
Yeah. And so if you sit with that and like say if you're in some quiet time and you're contemplating what's true about you,
Mm-hmm.
you can you can feel that whole statement and and in the moment if you ever feel like a little bit of a thought creeps in of hopeless or helpless, some form of distress, you can pull that out, the short version, and say, oh, what's really true is I am enough. And when you say I am enough, that's your anchor to the greater statement of that, because it's like shorthand for the whole thing. And
Beautiful.
so in the moment, you don't want to, I think one of the ways that our lives get better is that we don't just let these negative thinking just go by unchallenged.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
And we
this,
want to say, oh, I used to think that, or just, you know what? What's really true is, boom, I am enough.
good. Good. So when the thoughts creep in or occur, and they do, they just occur.
Yeah.
You read some news about the economy or a crash of, the stock market or whatever. It's easy to let some story come up. Oh, I haven't saved enough for the future. Oh, I'm not well invested. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But to just, instead of living in that future story, FEAR, right, come back and affirm what's really true. There's a settling that occurs. There's a freedom that occurs in
Mhm.
that. Because I can only live in this present moment.
Yeah.
I
Right.
can't live and respond to a future that hasn't occurred.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
right,
Yeah.
okay,
And there's the economy, and then there's your economy.
nice.
And then what can you can control your economy of thought, your economy of sleep, your economy of your whatever diet, whatever inputs that you're willing to ingest, you can work with that.
Nice. I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, so you talk about your work being an amplifier of our unique and essential voice, and being able to hear our own signal clearly. We talk about fear as kind of being that signal interference.
Mm.
So what is it? How do soul statements get us to amplify that?
Because the soul statements, and some people just have one. Um,
Okay.
one woman I worked with just had "I am enough," and that worked everywhere for her. And
Ah,
and
okay.
so and me, I'm I have I kind of tailor them to whatever I'm disagreeing with. So that
Right. I
thought.
mean, I'm
Yeah,
as a father and as a husband, as a business leader, as a speaker, as all those things. I'm enough might work for all of them, and
yeah,
getting at the truth of what is essential to me, what is it that I value about each of those roles. I think your soul statements could really help a lot.
sure. So like one soul statement that I might say would be, I am bigger than any complaint, or I am not my story. There is strength in my center. And it's wonderful because there really is strength in my center. I really am not my story. I really am bigger than any complaint because I am soul. And the more I'm connected to the truth of that, the less I'm worried about income or outcomes, and the more I'm just sure with there's a reason I'm here, and I don't need to know everything right now, but I can know that I'm enough, and I will, and whatever I need, it's always been provided before. It will be provided into the future. So it's all okay. There's a certain okayness that comes with that, a certain serenity, if you will.
So you did a lot of work in your life to overcome fear. And for someone who may be stuck in their story, stuck in their fear, maybe it's of the uncertainty of the future, whatever it might be for them, what do you suggest as a good way to start extracting themselves from that noise and getting back in touch with the truth about who they are?
Well, I mentioned time and stillness before, not necessarily meaning your body is still, but whatever quiets your mind, a hard workout or whatever. And you're building a relationship with yourself, with your heart, and your heart has been beating for you on your behalf since before you were born, and it will beat your whole life. And so that's a trustable thing.
And
Uh,
it's given to us. I mean, it's a gift. We
yes,
didn't have to earn it,
right,
right?
right. And just the more we can then also move in, we have these thoughts, we have these contemplations, and the more that we can contemplate things that are worthy of gratitude, that naturally bring up gratitude. We can have a gratitude journal. I think it's a wonderful practice I've done in the past, where wake up in the morning, give me 20 gratitudes, write them down. And after a while, you realize that I could keep going all day, and it's not even scratching the surface if you really
Yes.
wanted to. And so there's always a lot to be grateful for. I mean, I was just putting on my pants the other morning, and I realized I am grateful for balance. There was a time in my life where I couldn't do that. I had to sit down and even had people help me with my shoes and whatnot. And so I can stand on one foot and put my trousers, stand on the other foot. That's amazing that I regained that ability. I'm so grateful for that. So there's no shortage of things to be grateful for. And so that's a good direction to go. And the more we can, and I've also, when I was in the field with my uh, clients, students in early sobriety, I would have them journal um, things that are true about me. And maybe some of the times the way they could get to that was, okay, well, what isn't true about me? I'm not mean. Okay, well, does that mean you're kind? Let me think about that. And you develop this self awareness, self knowledge, and so that's a way to get there.
Okay, so the idea of keeping a journal, certainly a gratitude journal, and there's so much research on the benefit of that. One of the statements you made in your book, I really loved it. A gratitude is a spiritual push up.
Right,
It
right.
is so great.
I made that up.
I love it. Well, I am going to totally rip that one and say that I got it from Corey.
uh,
So, no, it really is good. The spiritual push up idea is so important because
yeah,
it does build that kind of muscle
Yes.
in response to lack or limitation, which is always the source of fear.
Mhm.
And I want to take a little bit of a turn from that and talk about self-criticism. Because a lot of us are raised by being castigated, being punished for what we didn't do right. Why do you feel self-criticism is such a powerful block to really hearing our authentic voice?
Well, just one reason is it's coming from someone we trust,
Hmm.
maybe someone we love, or maybe someone we want love from. And so that's powerful. And whether it's a teacher or a parent or an older sibling, we want approval from this person. And so that when we keep hearing it, we internalize it. And we've all done it to some extent. And now that we are, the authority figure in our own life, we have a chance, all of us, to say, wait a minute, uh, attitudes, beliefs that we developed in childhood. Let's take a look at those, and maybe they need updating.
Nice. So, any work that we're doing when we hear self criticism would be helpful.
Yeah.
Coming back to the idea of gratitude, you also talk about having an appreciation practice. And I think that one of the cool statements you make is focus on what's right about you.
Mhm.
So if you hear a criticism, okay, I accept that. I didn't do that the way I might have liked to. I can do better. What's true about me? I'm a great learner. I'm patient with myself. I can be compassionate. So I can start to layer in some of those more beneficial resources when that kind of thing comes up. Would you agree with this?
Absolutely. And if we shut ourselves off from that kind of feedback, in other words, discounting it, then well, we're not going to grow as quickly as a person, because we need to know our impact on other people. Otherwise, we're in a bubble, and it doesn't lead to a good place.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that as we build this relationship, this inner relationship with ourselves, and we learn more about what's true and good and resourceful about our own self, then we can script in advance with a soul statement how we speak to ourselves to create greater emotional coherence. So, and I have a loving heart. I am a treasure. My heart is a treasure. And so we can practice saying that and feeling it. And I think it might have been Louise Hay who said we have to feel to heal. And that's what it's all about. Is that's where the power comes in, is feeling the truth and rightness of it, and allowing that to sink in, and and be my truth right now.
I love this. And this really leads me to one of my last couple of questions here. One is it's this distinction that you make between feelings and needs. And if you could bring some clarity to this, because it's right on topic with what you're just saying, why is this so important for self understanding to get that distinction?
Yeah. And so, well, what I'm feeling is what I'm feeling. And it's I might feel hesitant or guarded or warm or nervous, shocked. I mean, there's a wide range of things we can feel, worried, vulnerable, confident. And so that's what I'm feeling. But if I'm feeling something maybe that I'd rather not feel, so worried. Um, well, the need is connected to what I would like to have in my environment so that I can feel less worried, maybe even safe. And so that's where we use our voice in support of what we value, in support of our own value, to say, hey, other person, I'm feeling kind of worried right now. And I imagine it's because, you know, the tone of voice that's happening. Would you be willing to speak to me in a more gentle fashion? I mean, I know that's a little formal. It can be less formal in practice, but basically that's somewhat of a formula to share with others what's going on, because the other person knows why they're doing what they're doing, saying what they're saying. I don't need to school them in what's going on in them, but I might need to let them know how it's landing over here. And then this is all from nonviolent communication, Marshall Rosenberg, brilliant. But yeah, it's good stuff.
Excellent. Yeah, in that he makes a distinction between the jackal and the giraffe. You know, giraffe has an enormous heart, and
Yeah,
yeah, those
it has a perspective because they can see
yes,
bigger picture.
yeah, it's really good work. Marshall Rosenberg, right?
Yeah,
Rosenberg.
yes.
Yeah, I met him on a couple occasions at conferences I was speaking at. Just love his work.
Yeah.
So to wrap it here, I guess it's kind of two parts. When someone does discover a soul statement, how do they actually live into it on a day-to-day basis? And for someone who's listening who is turned on by this idea, what's a simple practice that they could begin with that would move toward discovering their soul statement? Maybe we should start with part two there.
Yeah. Just determining what's good and true about you. And so I am a kind person. I mean, we can start with that and just give yourself evidence. Like think back, what things might I have done in the last day or the last week that were kind? Did I moved that worm out of the road, or because it was raining and whatever, and or I spoke up in affirmation of something someone else did, and so we we develop a self-image that's maybe a little better than our previous self-image. Oh, I'm kind, I'm good, I'm patient, and at times at least. And so we just want to remind ourselves, we want to align with the capable you instead of the critical you. And so when you can just say all the time, oh, what I actually believe is, and you just start to turn your thinking around. What's actually true is what I really believe is, and my body knows how to heal itself. Um, I'm a human being. I can just be, and so we we just we're not ever going to stop those negative thoughts from coming at us, but we cannot accept them, and we can say, you know what? What's true is, boom.
All right. And that's really going to awaken this work in us. And the other thing about it is it becomes an ongoing way of living, so that when a thought occurs that's disrupting that sense of peace or vitality or truth that's within us, we can pause. I like what you say, stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah,
Stop whatever is going on, just drop in for a moment and roll with whatever's showing up. Add that to a gratitude practice and some journaling, and I think you've really covered a lot of good ground.
that's right. That's right.
So Corey, thank you so much. Did you enjoy this as much as I did?
Oh, absolutely, for sure. It's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Well, good. Best wishes on getting this book out into the world. Thank you so much for writing it. Makes a lot of great distinctions. Peace and blessings.
Thank you so much, Dr. Paul.
hope you enjoyed this conversation with Corey Lyon Folsom. One of the biggest takeaways is that transformation doesn't always start with changing your circumstances. It often starts with changing the way you speak to yourself. We've explored how soul statements help create emotional coherence, reduce internal noise, and strengthen your ability to show up more clearly in your relationships and daily life. To learn more about Corey Lyon Folsom, visit corerelationship.com. Now, in the second part of the episode, we'll move into how these ideas can be practically applied, especially when it comes to communication, emotional regulation, and building more conscious relationships. You'll hear how to bring these insights into real-life situations so they don't just stay as ideas, but become your lived experience. Let's get started. Welcome back. This is the follow-on to my conversation with Corey Lyon Folsom. This is such a fun time for me. I really resonated with so much of what he was teaching, and what was in his book that I read was really good material to play with. So I would invite you to check it out. Now, to help use paraliminal technology to make access to all of the skills and resources within you to live into some of these messages that we were sharing, I've divided this into 5 themes. The first one is about soul identity. The second is hearing your signal. The third is about clearing fear and self-criticism. The fourth is self-inquiry and awareness. And the fifth is living the statement of your soul statement. So let's get into this first idea. It's this idea of soul identity. And this is about what's remembering what's true about you. I think that there's 2 paraliminals that can really help out. One is called finding yourself. It's a very cool process that brings you back through your entire life. It really supports in rediscovering the authentic identity that's underneath all of the conditioning that you may have received from your family system, from your friends, from school, from your religion, whatever it might be, from culture and society. It really helps you recognize that true core, that true center within you. The second paraliminal that can really help with this is self-actualization. And this is helping us to align our identity with a deeper sense of our own life's purpose and our self-expression into the world. So self-actualization is talking about transcending to a place of not just our fullest expression, being self-actualized, but being self-transcendent, to recognize that we're here in the world to bring our true purpose to the world. Very powerful. And you may have heard that in the soul statement that I was creating as well. The second theme is this idea of hearing your signal. And this is being able to separate the essence of who you are from whatever conditioning may have occurred. And there are 2 paraliminals that could help. One is seeing the unseen. Very often we don't see into the blind spots that our culture has given to us. We can't really perceive what's outside of our own mental model. And seeing the unseen helps us do that. It helps reveal hidden patterns and unconscious influences that have brought you to where you are today. And in that can also help liberate you from those. The second paraliminal is intuition amplifier. I mean, he's talking a lot about hearing the signal, getting the noise out so that the true signal can be there. And when a thought occurs that's filled with fear, to get to the signal, as he said, stop, drop, and roll, right? stop, just put a pause on what's going on with you for a moment and drop in, reconnect with yourself. Very, very helpful. And the paraliminal can also help us with that is the second one, intuition amplifier. And this helps us integrate our intuition and our intellect for greater insight to what's going on. You see, our intellect is always trying to sort out what's the problem, what is it not. And it's great for a lot of problem solving, but sometimes there are problems that are a result of how we've gone about solving our problem. They're unintended consequences. And rather than blaming the world out there for the consequences that I'm living today, what we need to do is we need to see more deeply into what's happening. And this is where intuition amplifier can really help a lot. All right, the third area is the idea of clearing fear and self-criticism, a way of removing blocks that might be there. So when Corey and I were speaking, we were talking about the idea that one of the reasons that we have fear and that we have self-criticism is that we have needs. And we don't know how to express those needs as clearly as we might need to. But certainly anything we can do to lower our fear and to drown out or cancel out self-criticism, to be more compassionate and more patient with ourselves, these two paraliminals can help a lot. The first is anxiety-free, which really helps reduce emotional reactivity so that clarity can emerge for us. And the second is self-love. You may have heard me refer to this lots of times over my paraliminal recommendations over the years. Self-love helps to establish that sense of compassion toward oneself. And as you discover, the sense of presence. Corey, in his book, Soul Statements, talks a lot about being present. That if we're not living in our head and in our story and in our fears, being present brings its own sense of clarity along with it. Practicing that self-love paraliminal is right there to support you. The fourth theme is the idea of self-inquiry and awareness, being able to see clearly. These have kind of been a part of a couple of the other themes or areas that we've talked about so far. Two additional paraliminals really help with self-inquiry and awareness. Number one, fresh start. The paraliminal I did with Bill Harris of Centerpoint Research, really good because it supports releasing old identity narrative stories that we've been hanging on to so that new insights can emerge. And with that, it brings a greater reflection, a greater awareness, but also a greater access to the tremendous resourcefulness that resides within. And the second paraliminal is self-esteem supercharger. This helps to strengthen an inner trust so that insight can be received without second guessing or self-doubting it. Just being able to be present to yourself, in love with yourself, being your own best friend. And Corey talks about this in his book. You are your own best coach. There's nobody in the world who knows you better than you. And if you have a good, loving relationship and communication with yourself, that coach becomes a living presence with you, always there to support and assist the next evolutionary step in your development, in your living full out on a daily basis. The fifth and final theme is this idea of living the statement of your soul statement. And we talked about this at the end of our conversation, being able to embody and really practice on a daily basis. So there are two that can be very helpful, two paraliminals. One is the new action generator, which translates any of these insights that you've gained into aligned behavior. And the idea of alignment is super important. When I was reading Corey's book, I made a lot of connections, but that night I had a dream that was so profound. It was super lucid, but it was all about this idea of living fully aligned. You know, we've got this higher spiritual presence and force, and it is represented by the brain, the physical brain, the mind, but also the heart, right? And all of that stands on top of this physical existence that we're living in. And it helps to animate us and move us around and get where we need to go on a daily basis. But this idea of having those all aligned coherently, then we can behave congruently in the world as well. And the new action generator is super powerful for helping us do that. And finally is this idea of self-discipline. And this supports a really consistent embodiment of what it is that you value most. Self-discipline literally is becoming a disciple of those higher values that are important. Corey talks about it in his book as putting a stake in the ground for what it is that you value most. And once that stake is there, then you will take a stand for what you know is true for you. Self-discipline really helps embody and live it full on. That's it for our session. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you're listening to those paraliminals. It will make a difference every single day. Peace and blessings. Thanks for joining me today. I applaud your willingness to maximize your potential. You can easily use the paraliminal audio sessions in the MindTracks app to stimulate your non-conscious mind, that is your inner mind, to reduce any resistance in your life and propel you toward the success you want. Go to mindtracks.com/go. These amazing audio tools have helped millions, and I encourage you to bring them into your life today. Be sure to come back for more episodes of the MindTracks podcast. You'll find insightful conversations with authors, experts, and thought leaders, all devoted to improving your life's experience. And if you found value in this episode, please be sure to subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us to get the word out to more people who can benefit. Thank you again for being here on our MindTracks podcast.